Hey everybody, it's Faye with Seattle Freeze Podcast, and today I'm hanging out in Everett, Washington at Artisan's Coffee and Bookshop. I've got an ice mocha, and I am hanging out and talking to Shakti Moon, aka Fanny Flutters. I did it right?
You did
Miss
it.
Fanny Flutters.
Miss Fanny Flutters. Now I'm saying feathers. Flutters. Yes.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about, first of all, you and what you do, because you're a performer and dancer. You're doing burlesque and belly dance.
Yep.
And what a lot of people don't know, and I don't know if you know this, you might. When I did my live psychic show, I always had a belly dancer open for me.
Yes.
And people would say, why is that, Faye? Let's think about that. Well, because they changed the energy of the room.
Mm-hmm.
And my all-time favorite belly dancer, and I also had a belly dance troupe that did belly dance tarot readings right before the show, so people got readings if they wanted.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then I got Mirabai.
Yeah.
Oh God, she would make me
Mirabai's amazing.
Mirabai made me cry watching her. Everyone loved her. So beautiful. And now she does another type of dance with the hair. I can't remember. I don't want to disrespect it, but
Yeah, it's a Haliji.
yeah.
There's lots of different Middle Eastern dances and regions and everything, and she's been one to have really studied
Yeah.
a lot of the regions and the different dances, which is why she's always been kind of a big, what do you want to call it, inspiration to me, because I'm always seeing her learn a new thing or present a new style. Or I saw her do I got to be at one of your shows. I did Reiki so long ago.
Right, I remember.
Yeah, at the beginning. But so I got to see her, and she did her knife dance, was part of her dance that time.
Yes.
And that's like a certain dance
so
from a
good.
certain region. And so
Mirabai,
really
we
neat.
love you so much.
Yeah.
Mirabai is located in Seattle. By the way, I forgot to mention that we're in Everett, not Seattle.
Everett.
Shotki lives out in Granite Falls, and I live out in Seattle, so this is kind of a fair meeting place. And Everett's a great little city to visit too. Anyway, back to you now. Talk to me about your name, the belly dancing, and how you now are new into burlesque. This is something new for you.
Yes, it's not necessarily a new passion, because I've been following burlesque and probably any kind of dance most of my life. From when I was little and went and did ballet at 6 years old, right? Well, then when my neighbor friend quit,
ballet.
I quit, right? Then at 13, I think I did a jazz dance class, an official class, and we did one recital. And then my good friend quit, so I quit. So for me, it's always been a social thing with dance. And I seeked out and found belly dancing after seeing it and following it and loving it, and just like melting when I saw it. And I'm like, well, maybe I should do that. I wonder if I could do that, right? So I finally seeked out a teacher and started out, and she had me on the stage performing with her troupe in Sultan, Washington at the Sultan Shindig.
Ooh, Sultan, if you don't know
after
Sultan.
1 month.
It's a crazy little place.
So I kind of jumped in head first, but then that was in my 30s,
In a month.
early
That
30s.
is pretty quick.
One dance. I got to do one dance, and then they did the other stuff, and I got to stand to the side and look cute. And I think because of that really confident start of like, you can do it. Come on, you'll learn the one
Right.
dance. You'll do the one dance, and it's going to be great. You don't have to be all or nothing, is what was lovely about that. I was embraced from my beginner level up to now. I'm branching out and doing belly-lesque is what I've added to my belly dance.
Oh, I love
guess,
that.
is
I
something
love
we've been
creativity
doing.
with words.
Yes.
I love it when
So,
people combine words to create their craft, or, whatever, to describe what they do, because so many people are multi-talented. They don't just do one thing. They can do many things. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm learning, as I meet people throughout Seattle. All these creative people who perhaps don't get a lot of recognition or whatever, but you also perform. Your troupe, doesn't it perform with a band, right?
Yes. So that's where kind of the well, actually the warning. I have my t-shirt on. I dance with the Black Sabbath Experience band.
I love that.
Black
so
Sabbath.
much.
I know, random Black Sabbath and belly dance, but you know what? It's really good. It's really
Yeah.
fun to do,
Yeah.
and it looks great. So we've been dancing with these guys for about 7 years now. They became the cover tune band, The Warning, but Zombie Jihad is who we met initially, a guy named Johnny. ended up seeing us, and we were belly dancing at a fundraising event, which is something that Moon Sirens actually does a lot of. Whether we participate in them or we used to actually produce them pretty regularly before COVID, actually. He saw us and was like, wow, I got a rock band. You want to dance with my rock band? That would be the hottest show, belly dancing and rock. And I'm like,
Great
dude,
idea. It's a great idea, you know,
yes.
very creative, and it
So,
works.
7 years ago, we started doing that. And then, yes, last Friday, in fact, I finally dove in after watching burlesque dancers, loving burlesque dancers, supporting them, going to being a volunteer at burlesque shows, reading about them, podcasts and listening to things about how they do their costumes. I'm like, damn it, I got to do this because, I'm not aging backwards. I'd like to.
Yeah, and I'm a big believer in fulfilling dreams.
And honestly,
No matter what age you are, it doesn't matter, y'all.
yeah, and reaching for them and thinking, screw that.
Mhm.
I'm not too old to do that because I'm still alive, damn it.
Yeah, we're still alive. That's what I always tell people.
So
We're
don't
still
age
alive,
yourself out of
still
anything.
breathing, right? Like, don't think you can't do anything anymore. That's not true, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, unless there's health issues, of course, whatever. But even then, you can get creative, you know?
Yeah, there's so many art.
I met a young
formats.
man who came to me years ago for a reading, and he was paralyzed from the neck down. And he used to be an extreme sports guy, but he got paralyzed in Hawaii, jumping off a cliff, broke his neck.
Oy, yeah.
And he was severely depressed. And I worked with him for a while. I remember it very clearly, and it was there's a lot of hope ungiven. But that being said, and the point of the story is, he came back a few months later and he was drawing with his mouth, and he was actually designing a cover of a book. So it is possible to, and he was smiling, like happy. And the point is that no matter what happens to you, there's always hope and always a way to still live life.
Yeah. To be able to create in some way, I think is so important because it's just it's that creative mind outlet, not the doer mind or the survive mind.
Right.
You get to get into
Yeah.
a different headspace altogether. So whatever art I've always really supported, I happen to fall into dance and what I do is my passion. But oh my
Right.
God, there's just
A lot of, yeah.
you look around even just Artisan's bookshop here and coffee, and they've got art all
great
around here.
It's a great
from
bookstore.
Local, yeah. And
Yeah.
right next to it, it's not open today, is an Artisan's gift shop that has local people's jewelry and things like that. So that's
Yeah,
why I invited
I think
Faye here
that-
today. I knew she'd love it.
Well, I also think that, off subject, then we'll get back to talking about you, but I think that Everett has a bad rap. And I think that there are parts of Everett, just like there's parts of Seattle,
Yep.
parts of Tacoma, parts of, Mississippi,
Mhm.
New Orleans, that are not that safe, and
Yeah.
not that great. That's true with any city you live in. But really, Everett's changed a lot. And I used to live here, and I love coming here because of things like this, these small businesses that are super cute in old buildings. Lots of food. There's a new record store over here that I know is getting popular.
Nice.
There's even a Taco Del Mar if you want that. But anyway, yeah.
It's
It's a great
kind
little
of the
place.
old school Seattle feel, but
Mhm.
Seattle's
Yeah.
just kind of changed so much. And it's Seattle, Everett is 35 minutes out of there and much closer for you and I to have met. Well, not for you, but it was nice
No,
for me
it
to
only
come
took
out
me
this way.
24 minutes to get here. If
Nice.
there's no traffic.
So that was about exactly the same. Yep,
Yeah.
about 25 minutes. So anyways,
Anyways.
we do love the area, and we know acknowledging the bad rap, but it's kind of a beautiful little area to visit. You just got to
Downtown
be aware of
Everett.
yourself, as with anywhere in any city. Just
Yeah.
watch out. Keep your eyes open, of course.
Okay, so
So
we've
what-
got you. I did watch your video. I couldn't make it to your show, but I watched
you
your
did.
video. Of course I did. I always support you.
What'd you think?
You've got a nice ass, and it was great.
Cheers! That
And I
still
was
have
so
that.
proud of you because I know that's something. It can be fearful, like not something you didn't want to do, but it's still a little scary.
Oh my
'cause
gosh!
You're,
I was
you're-
freaking out
yeah, of
for like
course.
the last week because I am also perfectionist as far as like my
Yeah.
art, which it'll never do in art. You got to let go of that because
That's
the
my son.
perfection is
Yeah,
always gonna drain you versus the
Mhm.
beauty of allowing things to kind of happen. But believe me, I thought I needed it perfect. And in the end, it was not perfect, but it was really fun. I learned a
It was
lot.
goddess-like,
And it actually, it
ritualist.
depicted what I wanted it to, which was my Pussifer band that me and my husband both love and adore this music. And they have a little alien queen that is kind of their like little logo, queen bee. So she inspired me. That's why I had the horns and like the fangs, and I
Yeah.
was kind of a little bit alien and a little ethereal. That was what I was trying to, and it
Right.
was also a kind of a religious piece, which I grew up in a certain way that makes me feel a certain way about how people address, say, sexuality, or being up there with my boobies hanging out with just pasties on them, or like my mom, bless her heart, she sees the pictures and she says, I saw your pictures. And they don't care that I'm doing burlesque. They get that I'm a performer and they've watched me, supported me all the years. But because I wasn't your pretty character, I wasn't the Marilyn Monroe, ooh, I was a little edgy. She's like, I didn't like them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's okay, Mom. You don't have to.
Yeah, they don't.
It's okay.
Not
You'll like one
everyone
of my
will
other ones
like
that are
everything
pretty.
we do. That's
But it
just
felt
life.
right to me.
Right.
And what was really cool is quite a few people in the audience knew Pussifer, which this is about 17 years ago. This or 2017, sorry, not 17 years ago, 2017 song. So it's a little bit older, and there were people singing the song to me while I was dancing, and it was so wonderful.
Oh yeah, it was a good
I'm
video. You
like,
can
oh,
find
they're
it.
singing the
Why don't you tell
music.
people where they can
Oh,
watch
yeah.
the video?
Okay. Right now, I have not posted video myself. A friend of mine did a live. I will be working on getting a good video to post and try and share that. But I am Shakti Moon, Miss Fanny Flutters. So I'm both. You have to kind of know them both. So when you search Shakti Moon, the one that pops up with Miss Fanny Flutters too, that's me. I unfortunately lost a page not long ago, so I am rebuilding my family on Facebook. I promise I'm not trying to scam you. It was scammers. So yes, find me, friend me, and watch out for some video. I do share. Once I get it all put together, I'll have that out. So
I wanted to. I'm sitting here thinking, how did we even meet? We've known each other a minute, but how did we meet?
well, the first thing we ended up doing together was you said, "Do you want to come and do Reiki at my cool thing I'm doing?"
Mm-hmm.
And there's a belly dancer, and you're like, and it's
But how did
nearby.
I know you?
I don't know.
That's an interesting thing.
That is interesting that neither one of us can remember.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's old age, marijuana, or
all of it.
all of it. Lots of life happening.
It had to be. I mean,
It had to be something spiritual or something belly
was
dance.
it just strictly online, knowing
It
people?
could be.
Like, it could have been, because you and I are both, I think, the kind of person like, you're beautiful.
Yeah.
You are too.
Yeah,
And then
we
boom,
would do
you want to
that.
be in my show with me?
Yeah, that's how
It
I
probably
am.
happened like
yeah,
that.
I'm like, wow, I like you. I meet so many people that way though. Just I will go up to I will talk to anyone, right? Because I used to be a real introvert. I
Mhm.
used to be real like living in Texas away from everybody. You can get lost in Texas
Kind
very
of walls
easily.
up, right?
A
Protecting.
lot of walls
and,
up and
Yep.
just fucked up basically.
Oh.
And now because I've done all this work on myself and I've done a lot of I quit drinking alcohol and quit doing drugs. I it's just changed who I am, and so now I remember I went to Whidbey Island to heal, and Whidbey Island is this beautiful place in Washington. If you ever want to go, it's a beautiful place. But I was thinking about living there, and I remember like 2.5 weeks in, I was so funny because I was so sick of the deer and so sick of the bunnies
And the quiet nature.
and the quiet. And I
There's
was
nobody
like,
yelling on Aurora Avenue.
and that's what I wanted.
There's
I was
nobody
like,
down
I
below
miss
there.
my prostitutes. I miss the
Oh.
grunge of the city. I miss the noise, the ambulances, the cops,
Being in the thick of it.
the art shows, the
Yeah.
freaky dressed people, and and the youth. Really, a lot of. I love the youth of today. I don't know if you work with a lot of young belly dancers or not, but to me, I work with a lot of young healers, and I mean young in their 20s to 30 range, and that's who I kind of resonate with a lot lately. So I'm pretty open minded in this town of Seattle Freeze, where people aren't really friendly. I'm really friendly. And you are too, because
Yeah.
I've gone out with you, and
Yeah.
you'll just talk to anyone. Like we just talk to
Yeah.
anyone. Like,
And I wasn't
hey.
really always that way, either. Like high school and even my 30s, you go through that whole like ego, like needing approval and needing to be something else and
Right.
not recognizing even who you are. And it was definitely getting into honestly, my 40s and 50s that I really learned who I was, who I wanted to be, became more confident. I think, like I said, I started belly dancing kind of early 30s. And I think that brought me into a whole different artistic group of people, performing, took
Right.
my time up and supporting performances. I always loved music and always went and saw live music. In fact, one thing I did for 17 years was I worked in the VIP and hospitality at the Summer Meltdown that was held in Darrington, Washington over the last, I think, 10 years of the festival. And they're not currently doing anymore, but it really
I
was
didn't even know
blessed. And we
what
used
that
to,
is.
yeah, it's north, and then you even cut a little east. But about an hour and a half or hour and 45-minute drive it would be for you to get there. Beautiful out there. And this
Yeah,
amphitheater
it's
is
beautiful in
amazing.
Washington. Yeah.
And I'm going to actually be with the Moon Sirens at Rock the Mountain this year, 2025, which is August 13, 14, 15, 16, that like Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
I
Sunday
saw that, yeah.
weekend. And we get to dance, and we're going to probably have a lesson sometime in the weekend. And we're going to probably hop up with a band or two, depending on who lets us get up there and shake it with them. We're working on that. So we're really excited to do that. So it's always kind of fun to find the new thing, because that festival for me was my thing for 17 years.
Oh
And
yeah.
so it's fun to kind of find new ones.
I love how social you are too, because you really get out there and you do a lot. You even like volunteer and sell merch.
Yes, I'm a merch kitten.
You're a merch
I call myself the
kitten.
merch kitten, and I do that pretty regularly for my good friends in Trip the Wire, who are an all original band, fantastic, lead
Yeah, they
female,
are pretty
belts
good.
it out,
Yeah.
really great people as well.
You know, there I've noticed in Seattle, back in my day, there weren't a lot of female front people, but I noticed in
Mhm.
Seattle lately there are a lot of female front people.
Yep.
Well, more so than
Yeah.
25 years ago. But baby Rebecca Terry from Baby and the Nobodies, I interviewed her and she's just amazing. Her voice is beautiful. And Trip the Wire, you're right, beautiful voice. And Queenside Ponds as well.
Oh,
Yeah, I like
that's one
her
I'll have to
voice. She
check out.
reminded me of of the 90s voice, female voice,
Yeah.
kind of, you know.
Right.
Not quite like
I
that,
guess
more
that was
like
the
a Courtney
men's
Love
voice,
voice.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the guy's
The guys
voice.
were
The guys were high
the early,
pitched.
I guess maybe more
Um,
80s.
but yeah, there is a lot of great music in Seattle for sure.
Yeah. Whether it be people out there doing the cover tune thing, which I know can be
Huge
frustrating
in
for
Seattle.
people.
I don't know what about
why
the rest
are
of the world.
people going and paying to see cover tunes? And I get it, because I do support local musicians that are doing originals. But they're also doing their little weekend band because it makes them money, because the people that go out and want to dance and have a few drinks on the weekend want to dance
They
to,
tip,
like, Sweet Child of Mine and
They do.
rocker,
It's true.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Especially people in their, older ages.
Well, I think those
And
are
I
the
think
people
the
that are
younger
going
crowd is
out.
into it now.
Some of them are.
Yeah.
You are right. But,
The-
it is a little bit older crowd that goes out. And I don't know if it's because that was what we did. Right?
Right.
But also, we didn't have the computer games where you can sit and actually kind of be social on the computer, because you play with people. I'm not a gamer.
I'm not a
dancer,
gamer.
not a
We're not
gamer.
gamers.
No. So they have a different way of interacting. But then, yes, there were a few young ones last night in front banging their head.
Yes, they are. The younger crowd is
You were
starting
not
to get
alive
in.
when this happened.
They
I
are.
almost wasn't alive when it happened. I mean,
Yeah, I was.
I was young.
Yeah,
Young.
I was in the middle of it all. Yeah, so Seattle scene, dancing, and all that. I used to belly dance too. I took belly dance lessons.
I think you told me that.
Yeah, and I really I never pursued it or anything. It's just not one of my passions. But I actually do it now for exercise. To be honest with you, at home,
just move,
just to move that hip.
move your hips.
It's really important as we get older to move our body.
Absolutely.
And belly dance, I think, is a great movement for women.
Yeah, I think that,
and men. I think men can do it too now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a way of staying younger, and I know there's some scientific stuff on it that I've read. I don't want to try and even quote or what have you, but your brain gets like
Yeah.
stimulated. It's really good for your brain to, because of the
Like laughter.
memorization of dance movement.
Yeah.
You're teaching your body to move a certain way. So it's this mind body thing,
Hmm.
really, really good for your brain. So I love that about dancing as well. And to kind of go back to uh, moon sirens and the group and dancing and performing. So getting that opportunity to get up and be, say, the form of music in a body shape, right? Does
Right.
that make sense? Like, I'm the words of the music, but in a fluid movement way. We're getting to get up and jam or dance with like live bands around Seattle, whoever it might be, my band included, but it's always like you feel like you gotta jam with the band.
I
I
know,
gotta jam with the
and it's
band.
fun.
Like, I
Jamming with
can't take a
bands is fun.
guitar out and jam. I don't know how to play guitar. I'm not a singer. I'm a dancer. So
Right.
that's just, I think that that's something we have in common, my girls and I, is we love music, and it's that feeling of like pride and like honor to get up and do what we do and share it.
That of course it
And
is. Yeah, it's fun too, and it's a great form of exercise and a great form of
keeps you
shifting
young and
energy and getting the crowd happy, and that's the point of any, I think, performer who gets up there, whether it's a comedian, a dancer, a musician, and
yep,
a spoken word artist. The spoken word artists are, some of them are so brilliant,
yep.
and it is to change the feeling of the people in the room, to change the energy, and it's very powerful, especially if you have a bunch of women working together,
Hmm.
shifting their bodies, that feminine power, that's, of course it's powerful, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I like going to dance, and Seattle's not a big dance town. My friend Jason, lives out in California, and he's always sending me videos of shows there, and everyone's fucking dancing, a lot of people. And here it's a little harder, but I just do it because, first of all, it's like a free 30-minute workout.
Yep.
I'm sweating by the end of it, and
Yep.
there's certain bands I can really dance to in this town, and so I go and see them, and I dance and get a nice workout,
Get your
and they
groove.
love it because
Yes.
somebody appreciates their music. So yeah, it's a
Mhm.
win-win.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So get out there and dance at some shows. It's okay. Who cares what people think?
Exactly.
Everyone's so worried about that. I don't even care.
Yeah,
I think that comes with age. Do you think it does? Like,
It
women
does.
just stop giving a fuck what people think.
I saw
who
like a
cares?
meme the other day that was like, I'm old enough to not give a shit anymore.
Yeah, that's basically it.
So
I just don't care.
So just do it at a younger age, guys. Just do it. Do the
Yeah,
thing.
just have some fun. But I noticed, like, I meet some really strong young women, and they don't have fear. Like, I don't know what in spirit, of course, we believe that we probably, the grandparents of spirit, like me and our age, the cronies, we, and I talk to younger healers too, and they have the same theory that we cleared the way for them in a bit,
Right.
like that energy, so they could do their work clearer than we could, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I meet these young healers, and they don't have that fear that my generation of women has had and has been embedded in them.
Mhm.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Yeah. It is interesting, the whole new generation, and it makes me think of how, like, when we were younger and our parents were like, well, I
didn't have
used to
parents.
walk. Well,
Yeah.
yes. My parents would say, I used to walk 10 miles in the snow.
Right. I used to hear that, though. Yeah.
There's always the stories of their generation and how
I
they
went through
had
the
it.
snow. My dad tied me to the back of the truck.
Nobody gave anybody a ride. Now they like all. I mean, honestly, I guess it is a safety thing. Back in the 60s and 70s, it was a different world. So I can't blame
It
people
was.
for that need to change for safety.
I honestly kind of, we're getting off subject, but who cares? It's a podcast.
I know. We just sit and chat. We have too much fun chatting.
Yeah, we really do. But it has, like, I miss those times kind of where we had to connect or go home and listen to the answering machine, or, there seemed to be, okay, you're married, and I get it. A beautiful, long time, right? How many years?
15 years.
Yeah, and your
together,
husband
March,
I met
yeah.
is awesome, just so talented
He's
and
an
amazing.
artist and
He's so
musician,
amazing
yeah.
artist, yeah. But I've been single for a while, and I tell you, the dating is incredible, right? Like, it's it's been an eye-opening experience. I'm not even looking for love anymore. I'm just like looking to make friends and
Right.
try new restaurants and
That's what dating is.
yeah,
People don't
that's all I
realize
want
it.
to
It's like
do.
it's just about getting to know people, and then if something hits off, you might date again
Maybe,
and get
yeah.
to know more
But
about them.
but it's been a weird journey, especially in Seattle. And I was talking to some of my
I'm
friends
sure
about
it
this, and I'm
is.
not trying to be mean to the men of Seattle, right? But I've lived in other parts of the country and dated in other parts of the country, and the men in Seattle tend to be a little more tender emotionally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And so when they
I could
meet
see
a
that.
very strong
Mm,
feminine woman like myself or some of my
mm-hmm,
friends,
mm-hmm.
it's very intimidating. So therefore, you're labeled as, a bitch, or,
Yeah,
instead of looking at it like, wow, she has dreams and she has goals, she's just strong in what she
aspirations.
wants.
It's just going
Yeah.
after it, right? Like you see
So,
somebody going after something, and all of a sudden you feel maybe left behind or
but you're not
something.
left behind. I don't leave
No,
anyone behind. It's
no.
just, but yeah, but long story short, it's about, I think we get to an age where it doesn't matter what they think anymore.
Yeah.
Like I don't care if somebody I'm dating, man or woman, can not handle, then I might not be able to see that. Like that's on you. That's your,
Yeah.
you know who I am. You like it or not.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my spirit guide this morning, okay? Because I was like, am I a bit? Like, is that okay? I'm going to tell you this funny story. This is a funny story that just happened, okay? This is
Okay.
prime example of what I mean. I connect with this guy on a dating site, but he claims he knows me, which, in Seattle, I've been around, okay?
Right.
But long story short, we met 20 years ago at a friend's wedding. I was the officiant, he was the DJ, and we kind of click, but we had a beef, and that was that. And this was like 17 years ago,
Oh,
probably.
wow.
And we were laughing. I go, well, how's the dating site working out for you anyway? I just joined. I don't, and he goes, I love how forthright you are, because I literally just asked you out on a date and you're asking me about other men to date. And I'm like,
Is that how it came across?
is that how it came
Because
across?
that's not what I really gathered off of what you just said,
Yeah.
but I can see what he's saying. Because you're like, is it working? Like, and he's
Yeah.
thinking, oh, she wants to know how many guys she can meet.
Yeah. And I was.
I get
because,
what you were saying.
because I was like, hey,
No, wait.
maybe you're my old friend.
Mm.
But then when we connected, it was like, okay, I know who you are now. And yeah,
Now I
we
remember.
connected the dots. And had a good laugh about it.
That
But
many years
the
later.
guy is super funny. But here's the thing. He's the male version of me, so it's not going to work.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that about you too, is like you now know kind of what you need, as far as like you need somebody that's going to be able to swim in the pool without like you as a floaty, like type of thing. They have their life, you've got yours. They like what they support you in what you're doing. Maybe they don't like every little thing. My guy might not like every little thing I do, but he supports my art, you know.
Well, I think,
Um,
and I support them
and
too.
you
And
support
I'm a great
back, and
supporter, but
a
I don't even know what
mature,
I'm looking for, to be
so you can be
honest.
mature and talk, if they
Yeah.
have a thing, it's like, I don't know.
But I'm
It
pretty
is hard
blunt
to
and
find.
honest, and I think that's it's scary out there for some of those guys with a blunt, honest woman. Like, okay,
Yeah.
like, if you have a date with me and I'm sober, don't don't meet me with alcohol on your breath. That is the
Right.
most grossest smell for someone like me. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's just little things like that I go, okay,
Mhm.
that's not going to work. So at least I'm quicker
Mhm.
now at realizing what will work and not work. And I'm
Mhm.
really proud of myself for that. And that's what
Yeah.
I mean about the women in my generation. We used to just put up with shit.
Yeah. I think it's a part of the process in a way, but sometimes you take more knocks than others. I
Yeah.
mean, you really, I know some of what you've gone through, and it has been a lot, and that is so tough. But yeah, I just would say more than anything, you're happy where you're at, and you can be
Yeah.
completely happy alone. And if you happen to find somebody to share some happiness and some time with, that's fantastic.
But and I love meeting people who make me laugh. So that's
Me
one of my
too.
goals
I
this
like
year is
to,
to meet
yep.
more people who laugh. And this guy makes me laugh, and I hope we can be friends and and all
You
of
never
that.
know.
But it's really hard
17
for
years
guys.
is a damn long time.
No,
Who knows?
no.
No. She's all, I know.
Scorpio.
And
And also,
my best friend years ago was a Scorpio.
yeah, but also I have a Scorpio rising, and just the male version of me. It's not going to work. It's too strong.
Right. That's what you were saying. That would be hard because
Yeah.
See, my husband and I
need someone kind of more mellow
to
balance me out. Yeah,
I love you, Faye. Come on, take a breath.
but hot at the same time. Like,
let's go get wild for the night, and then he's like able to ground you back down.
Yeah,
a little bit of both.
That's hard to find.
It is hard to find.
So hard to find.
And speaking of like being strong, like honestly, I think my husband's kind of a strong man, but also really, like you said, tender too.
Very
Just
tender,
from his
yeah.
background and stuff. He really is. But we butt heads for sure. And we did for 10 years. We butted heads hard. But we were old enough to know at the time, I think, that we weren't going to probably find something like what we felt like we did have, even though it was hard.
Right.
And we went to counseling. And we found
great.
a gal we both liked, which is very important. He actually found her, which I kind of allowed to happen because I was so pleased that he was willing to do it. If he needed to pick the person, I was okay. I was like, okay.
Well, I think that men have a harder time saying
Mhm.
therapist or counseling, like there's something wrong. But I always find this new generation of man is okay with it.
Yeah, I think that he was okay with it because it was me and us, because he's also that kind of old school guy that it was probably not easy, I guess, but he has found we've both found value in it.
There's value in counseling,
For sure.
and
For
if
sure.
you have a good
Individually,
therapist,
we
you might have
found
to go through a
things-
few people. Like, don't think that because your first therapist
found
didn't
her,
work
but-
for you,
Yeah.
that there aren't other therapists. I had to go through a few therapists who were able. Some weren't strong enough to do what I needed to be done, and some were, and I found this great one. Luckily, I did. So
Yeah.
and
They
then,
got to get you in a way that
yeah,
allows you to open up, and then also challenge you. Like she would challenge us.
That's I like challenges.
What I loved about it is it was like there'd be a scenario. We'd both have our own side. We'd talk about it, and she'd say, "Well, you're both right," and we'd be like, "Wait a minute,
Because
one
you
of us
are.
wants to be
In the
wrong,
end, you
and one
are
wants to be
because
right."
the feelings are this genuine.
And that's what she would say, and it made a lot of sense that after we heard it enough, it started to click.
Yeah.
And we do some good work now without having that regularly in our lives, but I kind of miss it. I love counseling. I think it's fabulous.
I do too, and
So
I do a lot of work on. I'm very self-aware and very
Mm-hmm.
self-focused on not being damaged and messed up. But so in Seattle, like, do you and your husband? Because I like to ask people questions about Seattle. And by the way, Shakti and I are going to be doing a monthly girl talk time where we talk about things like this, relationships, because we do live different
Stuff.
lives and
Mhm.
different perspectives. Like, she's been married a long time and I'm the single one, and so it's my stories might be a little funnier than yours because I mean, I was listening to this dating show on this podcast, and they kind of call people on the second date or whatever, and it's just so funny how people act on dates and the whole dating thing. It's just so bizarre anymore. And I miss just meeting people in the jungle, just like at random at a club or something, I don't know. But
I get it. That's how I met my husband. I was the merch girl for a friend's band.
Just meet at random somewhere. But
Yep.
anyway, I like to ask people like their favorite things to do in Seattle. So when you're in Seattle, where is your favorite place to eat?
Gosh. So we've become a little bit of a homebody situation when it comes to like going out to eat. So I am not very good at that, restaurant wise.
Okay,
What
then
we
let's
do
change
like,
it.
what we do is go down and maybe see music or entertainment. And I absolutely love, and they do actually have some good food. The Triple Door is a venue down in Seattle
Okay.
that is absolutely amazing. I think it seats 350, so it's kind of intimate but kind of big, and it's all seated, and it's every seat is a good seat in the house because they have it tiered. The stage is gorgeous. And he and I went and saw a show the
So
other
you
day.
like
What
the
was it?
triple door? That's where
Yeah,
you like
the
to go?
Triple Door for entertainment, shows, music, burlesque, different dance shows. But then, every year we go down and he participates in what's called the All-Star Porn Jam. And they get together every year. And all the musicians in Seattle get together and swap band members and
Yeah,
stuff
my
and come
friend
up with
Rebecca
something
does
fun
that
and
from Baby and the
go jam,
Nobodies.
yes,
Yeah.
and go jam out for the night. And we've been getting to dance with a band with it
Yeah.
at it a couple of years now. It's been a total blast. He does that every year, and that's at the Central Tavern. I used to go down to Pioneer Square, Central Tavern, that little area, and then also the waterfront and Pike Place Market are just some of my favorite places. I don't get there very much anymore.
Right.
And we honestly come down here to Everett and Tony V's last night. And
Tony V's is a very popular club out here in Everett. All the bands play here, and it's really good to support.
yeah,
And
so
locally
close for
owned.
me.
Yeah, very close. When you live out in Everett, it's a nice
Free parking.
and it's
which is nice.
Everett's pretty close to Bellingham, like an hour
Mhm,
away, and you can
mhm.
still they have Bellingham's putting on a lot of shows as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. You don't hang out in Seattle much, so it's hard to ask you questions about Seattle. But what's your favorite neighborhood to go to? Mine is probably I like Fremont or Georgetown.
Yeah, Fremont would be a big one for me, and I've spent some time there. I worked there for a few years. Little boutique called Nishu, and I think she still sells online. But I got to sell clothes in Fremont, and what a kick that was for about 7 years. But what were you saying? The other place?
Georgetown.
So I went to Georgetown Carnival a couple years ago. Oh my goodness, it was so fun.
Georgetown is super
I
cute.
really enjoyed
And
that.
they have
It is cute.
they have every weekend a trailer park like
Mhm.
with artists,
Vintage, like
vintage type.
trailers.
Yeah, it's a really cute neighborhood. Go down there and check it out if you're in Seattle.
Yep. So do love those areas. Green Lake. I
Green
love
Lake's nice to go
just
walk
Green
around,
Lake
yeah.
and walk around Green Lake, or get Golden Gardens, one of the beaches in Seattle. You can see people spinning fire sometimes in the evening.
We had
there. That
Mina's
one's kinda
Memorial
fun.
there.
Had Mina's Memorial there. That one's just kind of a beautiful spot. But gosh, it just depends on kind of what I'm going out to do, who I'm going out to see.
Right.
Slim's Last Chance is a place where
I'm going there
we
tonight.
danced
I'm going to
and
go
there's
see
live
Burlesque.
music. I love Slim's, and they'll probably be outside tonight.
They are
Which is a
outside
huge
tonight.
bonus. Oh my God, they have this outdoor
Yeah.
patio. So in a couple weeks at Breast Fest,
It's Sinister Six and Burien, and I forgot the Portland band, but I'll be down there tonight checking that
Nice.
out, and I'll be filming and posting on. By the way, you can follow me on Instagram, Seattle Freeze Podcast. I post a lot of Seattle videos there. Okay, well, I think we're going to wrap it up now and finish our coffees and set up our next podcast. And I thank you for spending time with me today.
yes, thank you, dear. So remember to find Shakti Moon, Miss Fanny Flutters on Facebook, and I am on Instagram. I am not on it as often, but it's Miss Shakti Moon. And then in a couple weeks from now, don't miss Breast Fest at Slim's Last Chance. It's 12 noon to 6 p.m. and it's a huge fundraiser for a person who is currently a warrior of cancer, trying to work through it, needing that help. Musicians, again, kind of like Porn Jam, musicians coming together to get up and do a couple of songs, switches out all day long. Music, we're going to do a dance set. It is just a blast. Everybody in the audience gets up and dances their butts off and sweats like crazy.
I love
Because
it.
it's like 90 degrees
Well,
out
I'll probably
in
go to
July.
that too. I go to a lot
I
of
hope you
events
come.
now because
You
I'm
will
more
love it.
social.
Raffle prizes. I was actually getting ready some raffle prizes today to donate. So anyways, come down to Slim's and you get to check us out. And check us out on Facebook for other shows and what we're doing. And you'll get to see me chatting with this lovely lady
every month.
So see you again soon.
And don't forget to follow the Seattle Freeze podcast on Instagram and on YouTube. And I thank you for watching, and I will talk to you soon. And remember to be kind to people. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know what they're going through, and everybody needs love in the world. Go support your local bands and your local artists and your local bookshops.
Yes.
Love ya.
Aho.